Hi, I'm Brandon Daake, the registrar here at Heart Mountain, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's Digital Dust It Off. The largest mass trial in Wyoming state history concluded on June 26, 1944, when Justice T. Blake Kennedy sentenced 63 Heart Mountain incarcerees to federal prison for violating the terms of the Selective Service Agreement, the draft. Most of those 63 men were members of the Fair Play Committee, a group of men who asked the question, why should they fight for a country that denied their families rights and held them in a concentration camp? The FPC was originally organized by a man named Kiyoshi Okamoto and quickly expanded to include members throughout the camp. Leaders such as Frank Emi, seen on this roster on Block 9, Frank's brother Arthur in Block 14, and Heart Mountain Wyoming Foundation board member Takashi Hoshizaki in Block 12. There were 3 requirements to being a Fair Play Committee member. You had to be a U.S. citizen, willing to serve in the Army once your civil rights were restored, and pay $2 in dues. That second point was a very important one to the members of the Fair Play Committee. So important they included it in their meeting notes for Wednesday, April 5th, 1944. The FPC was not an organization for draft dodgers. They were willing to serve once their rights were restored. The best source for the Fair Play Committee, and in fact where I pulled most of the artifacts you see today, is Frank Emi. He kept records and materials, not only those produced in camp, such as the roster and the meeting notes that I showed you. He included files after the war, case notes from FBI investigations, materials from the pardon that Harry Truman issued in 1947, information about reunions and the legacy of the FPC, all of it donated to us in 2012. Included in that collection is this photo. See Frank Emi here on the right, Sam Hirono on the left, and seated a gentleman by the name of Mr. Adachi, a Laramie resident who befriended the FPC leaders during their trial. Standing in the center here is another interesting figure, Guntaro Kubota. Kubota was not a member of the Fair Play Committee. He was an Issei, and most Issei could not become citizens of the United States. Therefore, he could not be a member of the FPC. However, he was sympathetic to the FPC's cause. He translated their materials into Japanese and gave speeches in support of the FPC. Because of those actions, Kubota was seen as a leader of the movement and in fact stood trial with Emi, Okamoto, and the other members of the FPC. Kubota wound up in Leavenworth for his time in federal prison, and kept up a correspondence with his wife and daughter, still in Wyoming, first at Heart Mountain and then in Laramie, often including little sketches and illustrations for his daughter. The Fair Play Committee today is recognized for the courage that it took to stand up for the rights of Japanese Americans placed in concentration camps. However, it was a long struggle to earn that recognition, one well documented by Frank Emi. I hope you enjoyed this week's Digital Dust It Off, and I hope you join us next week for more stories from our collection.